Welcome to the Chasing Daylight podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Got a special episode this week. I'm actually on the Hawaiian island right now, so there's a little pre-recorded show that we have, Joe and I, with a special guest, Mr. Cliff Harris. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. I like how you started that with a humble brag.
Sorry, that's annoyingly loud. What's up, Cliffy?
How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
You know, I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks for hopping on the show. We've been wanting to get you on for a long time. I'll preface this, everybody. Cliff is the king of the analogies. I've never met anybody that can come up with analogies that just hit home more than he does. So you're probably going to hear some good ones. I'll preface that with this. But the reason we brought Cliff on, everybody is well aware how much Joe is just a geek about Bandon Dunes. Myself, yep. I absolutely love the place. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. And Cliff just went there a couple weeks ago for the very first time. So, and also, if anybody's not aware, Cliff is kind of a world traveler. He goes all over the damn place. Him and his wife are a great team for she'll spend the day at the spa and he'll spend the day at the course. So you have knocked out quite a few good courses recently. You're on a quest to play, was it top 100 that you can play? Is that what it is? And he's played some really good spots. So he has some great insight on comparisons to the Carolina area, Wisconsin, Bandon, Vegas, and some other places. So Cliffy, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. 37 of the top 100 done as of now.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep. So just
that's
trucking
impressive.
Right along.
Yeah, that's a good chunk there.
What do you have lined up?
So I'm in San Francisco next week, so I'm going to try to actually get on Pebble. Company's paying for it, so I'm not going to be at the hotel lodge, but I'm just going to call every day. Paso Tiempo happens to be aerating their greens, so I couldn't get on there. Worst part, I'll just do like a TPC Hardin Park, something like that.
Yeah.
And then Stream Song is the one I want.
Area.
I want Stream Song so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
you haven't been to Stream Song yet?
No, you know, there's been a couple times I've been in the area, but you know, I decided to try some around did Celebration in Waldorf Astoria in Orlando.
Yeah.
Just never got down to Stream Song. It's just a little too far.
It's a little bit of a trek.
What did you think of Waldorf? Because I played that last time I was there.
It was a resort course. There's not going to be anything too challenging. It's usually not a lot of dog legs, no blind tee shots. You're going to see every shot you hit. For what it was okay. For the price, there's probably 100 different courses in that area that would have been dramatically better.
Yeah. Just flat.
What else have you played in the area?
Yeah. So I played the Waldorf, I played Celebration, I played Orlando National, Big Cat, the one that Liv just played, and then just a couple of the Disney, so Palms and Magnolia.
So do you have a favorite one in Florida that you've played?
Celebration.
Oh, really?
It was just I mean, I will get into this, but it's like when you ask yourself, like, what do you expect out of a golf course? I just want something to make me feel something. Yeah. I want to either feel like difficult shots, like I really achieved something. I want to feel just blown away by the beauty of it. Or I just want to feel like I'm just having a great time with my friends. I felt like Celebration was a really good combination of all of that. And I like courses that actually kind of represent the areas they're in. And I think Celebration did that. I mean, obviously the different types of grasses that are used there are completely different.
Yeah.
Need more bounce on the wedges. I learned that my tight fairways are my tight.
It's not Vegas, baby.
No, everything was digging. I'm not nearly as good. Use the bounce as a lie in there. But I just really liked that course. The routing was good. A lot of houses, but at the same time, there were enough just difficult shots that you felt rewarded for.
Yeah, last time I was out there, I wanted to play it, but they only had like 9 open, so we played Orange County National. But It's a Robert Trent Jones, and it looks like a good time.
The other thing is the driving range on it is one of those that you hit balls into the water, and it was the first time I've ever done anything like that. So that alone was just
That
a cool little feeling.
Yeah. Did they have the floating balls though that don't go anywhere?
No, they had the splunk, the
Yeah.
satisfying. Yeah, I hit a bad shot. Splunk.
Okay, that makes it at least worth it.
Yeah, I was down with it.
There's a course on the other side of Manhattan, right next to Liberty, that the range you hit out into the bay, which
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's yeah, that would be fun
I
to do.
think it would be fun because even you
okay.
can tell where it hits if they got yard markers out there. You probably get a better accurate idea of like carry distances.
Yeah,
You know
Yeah.
exactly where it's
Yeah.
coming down at. That's for sure. All right, so Bandon, how many days were you on property for?
we got in on Friday. Stayed at the Bandon Inn, did some just like local stuff, and then I was on property for 3 days. So I did 36, 36, 36, and it's phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal golf courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to get your. We'll dig into each course here in a few, but let's get your overall impressions of
The town of Bandon, the trek to get there, any kind of
Oh my
food
God.
in the town, like the scenery of the town.
So the town itself is, I loved it just because it's kind of hard to get to, and we actually went into Portland to visit one of my wife's friends, and then we just drove down. So that drive was just hectic, but
Did you do the 5 or did you go along the coast?
along the coast,
Yeah.
like we passed, there's like an elk sanctuary that was really cool.
Oh,
A lot
all
of
the
fog.
lighthouses are awesome.
Yeah, like we actually spent part of the one day just going out and checking out some lighthouses. The town itself is really cool. They have a creamery that had amazing ice cream, and Smith's actually, it's either Smith's or Sprouts. One of them actually carries that brand
really?
of cheese. I'll send you guys the link to it, but
It's
it's like
Face
I didn't even
Rock
know there was a
Creamery.
creamery
Face
there.
Rock. Yep.
yeah. Oh, it was so good. And then we went to the wine bar, and then there's the I can't remember, I'm blanking on the name of it, but there's the little shack that has the fresh
Yep,
crab.
Tony's.
Yeah,
Tony's.
Tony's. That was delicious. Bandon Inn too. Like I was expecting it to be this little like nothing, but it's like all the rooms were freshly renovated, and
Was that the one that's out on the point?
it's right above the old town.
Yeah, it's that one right across on the top of the hill across from Foley's.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it looks down.
Okay.
I was really impressed just how friendly the people were too. Like I always
That's
Yeah.
their money. All these
I just think
visitors.
of like, West Coast coastal areas. Like I think like when you think of San Francisco and the Bay Area, you think it's a little bit snootier. So I was expecting that kind of vibe, and it's the complete
Yeah.
opposite. It's almost like to the other extreme, to where everybody's just wearing like biker t-shirts and "Don't tread on me." And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we could do this.
I could hang out here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, once you get away from the big cities in the Pacific Northwest, the rural areas are a lot more, I'd say, middle America. Some you get on a little extreme side, but it's fun driving through all
Yeah.
those little towns and seeing that side of the country that you don't get to see, especially down here in the desert.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's just stark how remote it is. Like going to Sand Valley, that doesn't feel as remote as going to Bandon does. Even getting to Pinehurst, I know that's like an hour-ish away
Yeah.
from
Raleigh.
yeah, it feels like you're just going into a different area. And like something as simple as not having big grocery
Right.
stores, like they have like a Dollar General that also has food there, which
Yeah.
okay, like let's
Yeah.
do this. But that was also a little bit of a shock to the
Did you
system.
go into the grocery store that they have there, Ray's Food Place?
100%.
It's
Yes.
so old school. It's so awesome. Like with the produce in the middle of the aisle, and it's got the old school like bucket things. Oh, that place is awesome.
That, and it's cool how how you walk in and there's like an entire section before you get to
Yeah,
the cash
yeah.
registers. They had some baked goods that I may or may not have sampled. It was solid.
Yeah. I love that spot.
Okay, so the food at Bandon has widely been reported as amazing by myself and Joe. How much did you eat at the golf courses?
We ate at McKay's, we ate at the steakhouse, and I ate at Trails for breakfast, and also quick bite at Pacific Dunes, whatever that is at the roof there.
Pacific Grill.
Did you? Yeah, the grill. So you didn't get any of the food at Sheep?
No, I didn't get any food at Sheep.
Oh,
Actually, I take that
we should've
back. I got a
told you.
hot dog and I got a Snickers bar at the turn. Like, let's be honest. Like, may have been 2 hot dogs, but I gotta be honest, man. The food was a little lacking for me.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. I think there's 2 truths that I'm gonna say that are. The first is that Bandon is the best collection of playable courses, I think, in the world in such a close proximity.
Yeah.
Like, that was the biggest thing that I saw that I didn't realize is you hear that they're close in proximity, but you don't realize you could hit a ball from one to the other.
Oh yeah.
Like, people playing the preserve could hit a ball to me on 17 at Bandon. And when you play Pack Dunes, you can see the ghost tree on Old Mac.
Yep.
I mean, that is, I actually wound up looking it up on Google Earth. It is 3.5 miles, give or take, from the southern tip of Trails to the top of Sheep Ranch. And it's 1.5 miles from the coast.
Huh.
So that's smaller than the Strip. And just all right there. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. And that, so first truth is, it is by far the best collection. There is golf course after golf course after golf course. I can see why people debate which one is their favorite, because depending upon what you're looking for, there's a course there for you.
Yep.
And
100%.
the other thing that I think is true is that the resort experience itself is a notch below. And I think it's actually a pretty big notch below.
Now, which place? Where did you stay at?
We stayed in the lodge. So the old school lodge.
Yeah.
But there's some things that happen at other resorts that didn't necessarily happen here.
All right, dig in. I want to hear.
First and foremost,
I've been there. Let's see. I've been there. First time I didn't stay there. Second, third, fourth time I did. So, and those 3 times I stayed at the resort, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
So, I'm eager to hear what wasn't up to 5 stars.
All right, and I think that's the big thing too. It's up to 5 stars, and there's no way to say this without sounding like a little bit of a pretentious prick, but we've been to Kapalua and stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. We've been to Pacifico and stayed at the St. Regis. We've been to Pinehurst and stayed at the Carolina Hotel, and Whistling Straits stayed at the American Club. The level of service you get here, I think, is a more than 1 notch below those other areas. And it's everything from the way that they check you in, the amount of time it takes to check in, not really having people,
it does take a while.
Not having people really help you get stuff to the room. Usually a lot of times, like you said, like my wife usually comes with me. I've worked remote for 25 years. So usually what happens for me is I'll go play golf. She'll get us checked in, and then we'll meet up and do dinners. And then I have pockets of friends all over the country where, you know, I've worked with them for 15, 20 years, but we get together maybe twice a year. And so a lot of times they'll say, I'll go, hey, I'm going to be in Pinehurst. Cool. I'll come down for a day or two. Going back to it, the check-in process took an extremely long time with 3 people helping one group. And as soon as I heard the guy say, he was like, hey, I know there was a deposit, but could you just separate it out to all 4 rooms? My first thought was, dude, come on now. You guys just got to Venmo each other. Like,
it's 2023.
Yeah. Like, come on. You're trying to make this poor trainee actually go through. Not having help with bags up to the room, but also course to course. So playing Whistling, playing Pinehurst, what happens is after you're done playing, you put your bag, it has your tag on it, and they take it to the next course for you. And then a lot of times they'll wipe your clubs really quick. So going from Whistling Straits to Black Wolf Run, I get off the course, I put my bag down, I go inside, I grab something to eat, you know, hang out. Then when I get to the other course, my bag's there and it's clean and it's ready to go.
It is kind of pretentious, Cliff.
I know.
I'm just kidding, I'm
It
just
really
kidding.
is.
See, me personally, I don't want to have my clubs somewhere I don't know where they are. I want to know where they are.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't.
like.
That
It scares
scares
me to
me.
Yeah,
death.
it's all about the Apple AirTag inside
That's
the
true.
bag.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I do
have that.
have that. I do have that.
The other kind of three things. The first is like the fire alarm went off twice. Once at 6 o'clock in the morning and another day at 5:30 in the morning.
Ooh.
And they said it was because they burned toast in the kitchen. Okay.
Oh wow.
I think the absolute biggest thing though, I don't feel like the resort really reflected the fact that it's 300 yards from the Pacific Ocean. Like when you look at what was offered, there weren't things that were really reflective of, hey, you are in the Pacific Northwest. You are in, not far from Willamette Valley. A lot of those wines actually weren't from Oregon, which you have a world-renowned wine region right there.
Right there.
And I just don't feel like they had that experience level. Other thing too is there's no spa.
There's a spa.
The massage center,
Right.
the massage center is just a massage center. That being said, it kind of goes back to where I kind of go on three types of golf trips. The first one is with my wife. We want to go. I'm going to get to play a course. I'm going to be the first one out. I'm going to be done by 12. Right. That way we have the rest of the day to do whatever she wants. Yeah. I get to go play an awesome course, then whatever.
Yeah.
Second type is it's me and my boys, and we're just going to get drunk.
Yeah.
I have a group of friends that have been going to Alpine Valley for 25 years in the middle of Wisconsin. It is a crappy course that I love, but we go there, we park. I've only been going for a few years now just because I started playing golf a lot later than them, but we go there, we park. You don't have to drive, and it's not uncommon for someone to throw up before the first tee. I mean, I have fallen over a couple times there. And then the third time for me is a lot of business stuff. Like I do a lot of like business travel where I'll bring a client out with me while I'm doing that, mostly so I don't have to pay for the golf or whatever else. This is a golfer's place.
Yes.
When you go here, it is for golf. Hardcore and nothing
golfer.
But golf.
Correct.
And I think it's cool as long as you know that.
Yeah.
Like I think if you want a better overall experience, I don't think you're going to beat American Club and Whistling, Black Wolf Run, especially if you combine Erin Hills. I think that then you're getting golf courses that are still a somewhat notch below, but are on par.
Mm-hmm.
On par. I did that on purpose. That being said, it's like Bandon is extremely special. Just the fact that you walk outside and it feels different. Mm-hmm. Everybody that's there is a golfer. You're not kind of going back to the Waldorf Astoria. There were a lot of people who would play like twice a year there.
Right.
No one at Bandon is that.
They're nuts.
No.
Yeah, you don't mistakenly go to Bandon.
Right. No. Joe and I are talking about the head cover game at Bandon is amazing. When you're in the shuttle and you're traveling with other golfers from different regions of the world, and you see,
Cape kidnappers, Marion,
head covers,
just all kinds of shit,
just ridiculous head cover game.
The funny thing is, I'm going to actually go back and listen to you guys' Solstice episode. I downloaded it and I just haven't done it yet. I can't imagine that. Like that would be knucking futz on this. Like, holy crap!
You can do
it. It's pretty. It's awesome,
incredible.
Man. Like the next day, you feel it.
You don't feel it that day, though.
You feel it.
Oh no!
Yeah, no. You're on such a high. You don't feel it, but as soon as you close your eyes, and then it's hell. For 24 hours.
Especially you, Joe, because I know. You're an architect nerd like I am, so I can only imagine you like seeing such like there are holes in here that are the best in the world. Like if you put a 1 to 18. There's some holes here that would 100% be there, and just seeing them and
it's incredible.
Like I can't even. Yeah, like very, very moving, no doubt.
Yeah.
That being said,
all right.
I don't want to hate on it. It was really good. I love that every course has its own pro shop. I thought that was really cool. My wife spent more at the pro shop than I did. She got hoodie after hoodie after hoodie. But I love that, like stupid stuff, like the fact they have T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Like. I have enough polos at this point. Like I'd rather have a T-shirt that I'm going to rock as opposed to that.
That's me.
Yeah, and it's very
So
reasonably priced. Like the hoodies and the shirts are not expensive. You know, the hoodies are like
right,
$50, $55.
Well, unless you go with the
Well,
cashmere,
yeah, but like
you know.
the hoodies, the basic hoodies and the basic shirts, that's like $30,
Oh
and
yeah,
then the hoodies are like
they're not
55.
bad
Like
price at
that's
all.
well, something else that's cool is like I didn't have a rain jacket, and so I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to need one. And so what I wound up doing is I looked up. I went to PGA Tour Superstore. I was like, all right, let me go see, and they had a FootJoy for $195 or $199, and I was like, this is ugly.
Yeah,
I didn't like the colorways. So then at the Bandon Dunes Pro Shop, they had the exact same one, and it was $4 cheaper.
yeah, and no
So
tax
it's
in Oregon.
right.
Yeah,
So
And the
yeah,
Bandon logo.
100%. So they don't price gouge there.
no,
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 because they know. I mean, we tell everybody your first time there, you're dropping $500-600 in merch,
easy.
easy, without even thinking about it.
Right.
You know, because you're gonna grab something at every spot, and then you're gonna see something else, and then you're gonna see something else, and then you're gonna see somebody wearing something.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, I gotta go get that.
Yep. One other pro tip: if you're a logo ball collector, there is a logo ball pack for $25 that has all 5 courses and preserves, or you can buy the balls individually for $3.
Yeah,
And so it's cheaper just to buy the balls individually.
then you don't get the box.
That is true. That's true.
Yeah, you don't get the fancy box.
I have so many balls. I need to figure out what to do with them. Like it's.
Oh, dude.
Oh, I finally.
I see
you
yours.
see it over here. I finally got a little display
mine are up
case.
there.
Oh, look at you, Cliff.
Yeah, you gotta do a little something like that.
And I have 5 sitting here on my desk from North Carolina that I have nowhere to put.
We're Nish and Chris, 2 very amateur golfers on a quest to play the top 100 courses in the UK and Ireland, after Chris set this challenge on a drunken Saturday night in my kitchen. Join us on our frequently humorous journey of a lifetime as we grapple with the logistical and financial challenge of playing some of the best courses in the world, as well as grappling with our games, because let's face it, it's never just about playing. Sometimes the score matters too. Listen to the Top 110 Golf Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, my thing. I do the poker chips. I love the poker chips because I can just put them in a little box and I got them there. And but I got all the ones from Bandon, and then Seamus had to come out and make their ball markers for each course. So then I had to get all those. And then they did the let's do one for the ghost tree. I said, okay, I'll get that one. And it just goes on and on and on. So, and those things I think they're $35 a piece. So, I got
adds up.
Adds up quick.
Yeah, a couple $100 in ball markers that just sit on a shelf, but they're awesome to have.
So I have to get a logo ball. Actually, I have to get 2 because I'm doing both the Golf Digest and the golf.com. And so a lot of times they're doubles. And then I'm OCD as hell, but I have to use the ball mark of the course I'm playing.
Oh, okay.
It's
so you have to buy it beforehand and
then I have to buy it beforehand and then use it on that course. And then I have one for every Vegas course. So when we played Paiute, I had the ball mark out using it.
That's funny. I haven't heard that one before.
It's a problem.
That's the first. I haven't heard that. I've never. I like that though. I like that level of OCD-ness.
Yeah, like
that's
like literally just here. It's like here's you want Rhodes Ranch, you want Wild Horse. I switch them out before I actually go so that my markers are always right there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did not know that about you.
All right,
new fun fact about Cliff.
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah, right. So is it if like we see you before a round and we like take your ball marker without you knowing, and are you going to be like distraught because you don't have?
No, I would just go buy another one. Yeah, that would be an instant walk in and buy it. Like it wouldn't even be like a thought. I'd just be all right. See you guys in a second. Like tee off. I'll be right there.
That's funny.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mark your ball one time with mine, and then not give it back to you, and just have you be in turmoil.
Oh my god! The worst ever is when someone's like, "Oh, that's good," after I've marked it, and they're like, try to kick it to me or something like that. I can't stand it. It's like, don't fucking touch my ball mark. Like, come on, like leave it, let it be.
So my buddy Andrew, he's crazy anal about finishing the hole.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll play some casual because he'll come to town and just me and him will go and we'll, you know, we've played TPC Vegas a couple times with some strangers, and he'll lag a putt up, you know, to foot, and one of the other guys, oh, that's good, and tap it back to him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Watch out.
he's gonna lose his shit.
You know, but the problem though is if you, and this is something that being in Spanish for a long, like not a long time, I was only there like 2 years, but there were so many gimmies that it got to the point where like I got into a real match and it's like a 3-foot putt, and I'm now scared because I haven't hit one under pressure.
Yeah.
Like, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the courses. So let's start with your bottom one on your list. Now, like I said, we've said this 100 times. You could have 1,000 people rank the courses and be 1,000 different ways. So there's not a wrong ranking. Right. So this is Cliff's rankings.
And you can go there 1,000 times and it could change every time. And it's just
100%.
Mine has changed 3 times at least.
With the only difference of the 5th course is always going to be the 5th course.
I think so. Mine too. Yeah, I think.
Because it is the desert pines of Bandon. It is Sheep Ranch. All right.
Analogy king, I'm telling you.
All right. Here's the thing about it. The two courses I wanted to play the most were Old Mac, and then for me, I wanted to play probably Trails, just because I was more interested in that architecture and that routing. Pacific Dunes, I knew I would like. I play it, like leading up, I was playing it on the simulator like every 2 hours. If I had a 30-minute break, I would just go play it. I felt like I had a good idea of that in Dunes. Sheep Ranch, though, it is. I think I can't remember if it was Fried Egg or No Laying Up, but they talked about how difficult it was to build a course there. And originally, they just had it to where they had a whole bunch of tee boxes, they had a whole bunch of tees, and then you just picked and choose.
Yep,
that would be phenomenal.
I know. I wish I would have loved to play it like that.
I know. I wish I could have gotten a chance.
A little choose your own adventure. Sheep Ranch.
No scorecards, just bets.
And
just wagers on each hole, and let's go.
Right. And I don't really care about my score anyway. Like I said, I want to experience things. And Sheep Ranch to me is 30% too small.
Yeah.
And it has by far the worst routing. It has some incredible holes. Is one of the couple other things that really surprised me about Bandon is everybody calls it an ocean course. I wouldn't even classify it as an ocean course, because you have the ocean, then you have a 50-foot cliff, and then you have all the courses. So it doesn't come into play like it does at some of the other areas. It's not like Pacifico. It's not like Kapalua. It's not like Kiowa. It's not like some of those other courses.
Whistling Straits.
Yeah, Whistling Straits. There were a couple swells that like splashed water onto it.
Yeah.
This is up and removed from
cliff course.
Yeah. And it's the other thing with Sheep Ranch too is the way that the routing works. The volcano hole should have been the closing hole, no matter what anybody tells me. That you hit off of when you hit one, and Matt, I think you were texting me talking about what a tremendous view. 100% it was. But then the problem is you have to walk over the 18th tee box to get to the next hole. And it's like, I now see 18. 18's not a surprise to me. It's right there.
Yeah.
And it's visually, you do have a view of the ocean, but I think because it was the last one I played, I had already seen that view so many times now.
Yeah.
I kind of say that if I got to 10 courses at Bandon, I'd probably do 4 at Trails, 3 at Pack, 2 at Bandon, and then 1 at Old Mac, or I would just play Old Mac 10 times.
Yeah.
I think that's the way I would approach it. I don't know that I would go back. Like, obviously, if I was going on a trip, I would play it again just for the sake of playing it again. I just...
But you've been there, you've done that, kind of, that's how you feel about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, too, is if you play this without a lot of wind...
Easy.
It's pointing.
It doesn't offer much bite.
Yeah.
It's incredible what they did on that piece of land and what they fit on it. But there's 4, 5 good holes, cool holes, and then the rest is just kind of, it's like if you've been out there a long time and you're beat up, like it's a good like round to just play because it's a pretty easy walk. It's more like a walk in the park, nothing too dramatic.
Yeah.
Unless it's a 50-mile-an-hour
That too,
wind you
yeah.
gotta face as you're
Yeah.
coming home.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
That was not
That was
fun.
awesome.
I say the other thing too is I think a lot of the courses don't actually play with the ocean, so it's there as a backdrop,
Mhm.
but it's not something to where you're not having to hit over it. And I feel like Sheep Ranch actually
That's the
has
only
one of
one,
the
yeah.
few holes that's I think it's number 6. That's almost like a cape where you do have to hit
Yeah.
over a little
Yeah.
bit. And so it's like I think that if I had to go through and say what are the best 18 holes on Bandon, Sheep would probably have a couple holes there, but overall, I didn't
It
feel it.
pales. All right, so that's number 5. What would you say is number 4?
Number 4 for me is Old Mac.
That hurts.
Yeah.
But I want to hear
let's
why. I want to hear why.
All right. Old Mac is basically it's a shame because I was really interested in like CB McDonald, Seth Rayner, how they have the template courses. And I think a lot of people think that there's just templates and they make every single hole the same. It's more like a template is an idea and then they apply it to the land. That being said, Old Mac to me doesn't belong at Bandon. And it doesn't belong to Bandon just because it's not something that you're going to be able to play multiple days or multiple weeks. And I feel like it's something that you would be able to have a different experience every time you play it.
Yeah.
Because the greens are so
Insane,
massive.
yeah.
And like it's kind of like Paiute, for example. Depending upon if there's wind or no wind, that is a completely different course.
Mhm.
I think Old Mac is more of that way than any other course at Bandon.
Yeah.
100%.
Like with the pin placement, the way that I think there's different grass there too. I can't remember, but it by far is the one that has the least views of the ocean, even though it's right on the coast. And it also, the holes themselves, they're all interesting holes. But I actually thought the most interesting holes were not in the little punch bowl or area. I thought it was 1, 2, 3, and then 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that were outside the dune.
Yeah.
Like
they're very different.
Yeah, like after you're done with number 2, you see the ghost tree, and then you're like, "Oh, I have to hit that general direction." That is one of the coolest feelings I had out there.
What did you think? Because I told Joe, I said one of the like best moments I've had is the first time I climbed up the Ghost Tree Hill, and then you have that whole valley where you could see all the golf courses. It was just breathtaking to me. And if you get an early morning round at Old Mac with the shadows, it's insane.
For me, it was a little bit foggy, and then as we crested it, it was foggy. But then by the time we got to, I think it's 8, that's by the halfway house, the wind had come and just kind of blown everything away. Oh, I got choked up on that. That was phenomenal. Just and especially because the other thing that kind of screwed me up is I went in, early April. All that I don't know the name of the bush. I think I've heard it called grouse, but I don't know if that's it. It was all flowering.
Yeah, with the yellow popping.
Oh, wow.
So it was all yellow. So every time I've played it on a simulator, all the pictures I've seen, instead it's bright yellow all over the place. Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah. It's incredible.
But going back to Old Mac, like Old Mac, I think is a course that you have to play multiple times just because it's the least traditional there. It's the most like links golf to me. And I think you can do a lot more bump and run shots. Like flying to the green, I think is a mistake.
Nope.
But I also thought it was the one that just because of how big the greens are, I felt like my drives didn't matter as much. Like I didn't get up on the tee and get worried I was going to put myself in such a bad position, even if I was on a fairway that I couldn't hit a green.
Yeah.
The problem was I would hit a green and then couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. 120-foot putt.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the biggest thing to me is just seeing that it could be changed so radically by different positions. And I wish I would have been playing it with fewer people because we were betting and there was a lot of stuff going on. So I couldn't say, hey, I'm just going to drop another one. I flew it this time. Now I want to try a bump and run.
Yeah.
it also has by
Yeah,
far the best halfway house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. That halfway house is insane.
Yeah. The first time I played it, I absolutely hated it. I thought it was the worst golf course I ever played in my life. The second time I played it, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it. And then that was with Scotty, our buddy Scott, that's a caddy up there. He taught me how to play Old Mac, because when I told him, he caddied for me a couple days prior to the solstice and then at the solstice. So he had a pretty good idea of my game, and that was our last round at the solstice. And he goes, I'm gonna make you love Old Mac. I'm gonna teach you how to play Old Mac." And I shot a 75 with him that day, and it was like incredible. But it was him handing me a club and saying, "Hit this. Don't look at it. Just hit it.
Oh, there you go.
Hit it there. Hit it there. Hit it there." And it really like opened my eyes. Like, one, I never would have played it that way ever on my own. And it really brought into appreciation of the shot making creativity that you have to get around that golf course. And then you throw in the elements, wind or rain, and it just adds to the level of creativity that you have to have as a golfer to, to play well there. That's why. And after this last solstice, I just couldn't wait to get on it. It's so different than the other courses. Like you said, it's very linksy. There's some just insane green complexes, and that home stretch is it's so good.
I almost think that if I was playing it again for the first time, I would want, number one, someone to say, "Hey, let me take every even club out of your bag." Just because, like, I was trying to fly everything initially the first 4 or 5 holes, and that's not what you do there.
No.
And
well, you really don't do that at any of the courses at Bandon. Maybe trails. But because I know our friend Ryan, Utah Golf, the first time he went, he hated it. He hated everything about it. And we call it the country club golfers that are used to pristine fairways, perfect greens, the ball stopping when you hit it, firing at pins, and you don't. That's not Bandon golf.
No.
That's what's so cool about it, though, is because it allows for you to be creative. Like, that's one of my favorite things about Old Mac, is just the creativity and the different shots that you can hit, and the pin placements, and where you want to land it off the fairway, and how you want to hit into the greens. And that's what's just so much fun about that place, and it can change all the time, and you could play that a ton of times and still find new ways to play it. That's what
100%
so cool about Old Mac to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the next one.
All right. My number 3 is just OG Bandon Dunes. I could understand why people love it so much. For me, it actually felt the most like some of the Wisconsin courses. I think Pacific Dunes and Whistling Straits are so similar that if you flip them, no one would notice.
Really?
Bandon Dunes itself, I just think it was so unique. I love how it was challenging but fair. Like, I hit some bad shots and I got punished for it, but I want to have whatever effort, and if I put a good effort in, I want a good result. If I put a bad effort in, I want a bad result. Like, I want my shots to have to matter. And I think Bandon did that more than anything else. I don't think it was quite as penalizing as Dunes or Pacific.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah.
But I also thought visually it was the most stunning. And that stretch of 16, 17, 18 was really
so good.
That was the only time on the entire property, though, that I thought the terrain mattered. And what I mean by that is, it's almost like when you think of Bandon, it's going to be this like bowl, if you will. There's almost no shots that aren't on a dune to the left or a dune to the right or in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And this is the only one that I feel like played with that dune in an interesting way. It's also one of the things I also felt is, especially on Pacific, I felt the wind was either in my face or with me. And I felt like Bandon had a lot more shots where I had to factor the wind in more left, right, as opposed to north, south, if you will.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yep.
but that closing stretch was my favorite 3 holes of golf on the entire property, just because like I felt like
You made it.
Yeah, I made it, and then you were on the cliff,
Right.
like it was right there, and you have to hit it. It came into play. I don't know if it's like a ravine that comes in and then catches up to the land, but it just felt like it was more substantial than anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even with 15, you're hitting into the ocean almost, and then you're hitting along the ocean, and then you're hitting back up, like an outlet, like a cutout of the ocean almost, it feels like.
Exactly.
Like marshland.
Yeah, do you think it's we love how Kaiser, they originally wanted the clubhouse out there on 16.
Yeah.
Because they wanted people to have that experience of the ocean, view and everything. And then he was like, so as soon as he saw it, he's like, no, this is a
Clay
golf hole.
Kidd said that. He said, you can't put you can't put that there.
Kaiser wanted it out there. Yeah.
I would say that the only miss, I think, is how you end. Like, just the coolest experiences I've had in golf recently was Pacifico hitting over that ocean. That was my by far best golfing moment. I think the second one, though, was coming up Pinehurst number 2. And that green is so damn close to the clubhouse.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it is insane.
It's very close.
I really wish other courses would do that, to where, like, I remember I'm coming up and there's someone saying, hey, that fat guy in the red shirt, I bet he messes the putt.
Yeah.
I heard him because it's that close. I make the putt and I was maybe said a few words to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like
that is
that
cool.
experience. Yeah.
And when I went to Cabot has that. Yeah. The 18th at Cabot Links is the restaurant is a 2-story building that borders the 18th green
awesome.
and approach area. So if you're upstairs in the restaurant, you're looking down on the 18th green and the approach area. And then they have a patio that's just outside of it that curves around the green. So you can sit there and drink a beer and watch people hit in. And I mean, you're at risk. you are at risk, but it's amazing. And
that feeling will not be missing for too much longer at Bandon, though.
Yeah,
because 18 at Old Mac's gonna have. They're building they're moving the forge there at the steakhouse, and they're putting a pizza spot.
Yep.
So
that's gonna be so good.
They're also building out something around trails too.
Yeah, it's a par 3 course.
Yeah,
19-hole par 3 course.
19.
They had the little. I have a couple pictures I'll send you, but they also have like the pro shop being built right now too.
Oh, really? Cool. For the 19-holer?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Ooh.
All right, but Bandon also, I feel like people don't give it enough love. Like, I hate that it's number 3 on my list, but I also know that I just kind of feel like it's such an accessibly good course, and it's not as demanding. You still have to hit good shots, but it's not so much that if you have to hit to the right side of the fairway or you're dead.
Yeah.
Like it still has some strategy, and actually a lot of strategy, but it's not to the point where it's not playable. I think it's by far the most playable course that's out there.
Yeah. If you're spraying it a little bit, Bandon's fairly forgiving.
Yeah. Like that's why if it's like day 3 of the trip, that's where I would stick Bandon. I'd probably do Bandon and Sheep on the last day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless there's wind, and then you're just completely screwed.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Number 2.
All right. Number 2 is Pack Dunes. But I kind of look at Pack Dunes like a supermodel. Like, cool dating would be fun, but you don't necessarily want to marry it. Like, I had a caddy for Pack, and it completely changed the experience. And I don't know I've kind of thought back for the better or for the worse, just because like the caddy would say, hey, if you're even the first shot, the very first shot where it's blind tee shot basically, and then even the par 3, it comes right after. It's such a demanding golf course. Mm-hmm. And it's I think the genius in it is that you can have a good day. You could put it into the fairway and still score terribly.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It's to the point, and you have to have the shots, but more importantly, you have to know the shots to the green relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are like, I had a couple holes pulled up specifically, but like if you look at, I think it was number 9 that has the 2 greens.
The split up the hill.
Oh my God. Like,
which green did you play to? The lower
I
or the
played
upper?
to the top.
Yeah. Haven't heard.
Okay,
Yeah. I
I've
haven't
never
heard
played to
anyone
the
like
lower
playing
left.
to the bottom.
I've never played to the lower
Well,
left.
the problem I had is that there was a flag on the left.
Oh.
And so I went ahead, even though I had a caddy, he was like, oh, you want to be on the right-hand side to give yourself the best shot. I thought he meant the right-hand side of that flag. I later found out it wasn't actually a flag that was down there.
You got a tough shot.
Yeah, so I'm like, holy crap, this is the hardest damn hole on the entire course.
Yeah.
He was like, no, if you would have just taken like a much smaller, like it's only 73, 80 yards. He was like, all you have to do is just put a hybrid up there, a little, 3-5 iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I just feel like Pacific is the most demanding. Like it is the most mentally exhausting course, but I recognize it as the best.
It's a shot maker's
in the same
course.
way. Yeah. Like it's in the same way that I recognize a Lamborghini is better than a, Ford F-150. I might still want the Ford F-150 because it's more comfortable or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to think a lot on a lot of the other courses. Like it's still, you have, you're not on autopilot, but every single hole at Pack Dunes requires you to have thought in where you put the ball in the fairway, not just hitting a fairway. And then a lot of those greens are so protected by the bush that the sand doesn't even come into play. Like the bunkers, I didn't really fear the bunkers, even though hitting out of wet sand is not fun.
And Oregon sand at that.
That's a different sand too.
Seriously.
That's not Vegas dirt.
Yeah. Like even good country clubs, their sand is nice and fluffy. No, this is
it's like beach sand.
It's like silt. It's like silt. It's just, it's so wild.
And it's all over the place. But that is the thing that I just kept coming away from Pack with, is there were a lot of times where I'm excited that I hit a good drive for me. Like I'm a 16 handicap. I'm not going to hit great shots all the time, but I would hit it and it would be like, oh man, I bombed that. He's like, yeah, I was in the wrong direction. I'm like, it's in the fairway, ass. And he's like, no, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
He was like, you're not making a par here.
Yeah.
And it's just because the green will be sloping away from you, or it'll be something to where only half of it is actually accessible and the rest has a runoff or a drop off.
That's what I loved about Pack myself. I mean, we didn't get to play last time we were there, and I want to play it again so bad because it was my favorite. I just love those type of courses where it's like, you need to hit this shot. If you don't hit this shot, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And you're figuring out a puzzle as you're going along. And that's what I really like about, I mean, I like courses like that. And that's why Pack was my favorite. And you just kind of, point A, point B, like you're plotting your way around this terrain. That's incredible. And there was a master locksmith or whatever you want to say, that it shows you how to do it, but you need to build the key to unlock it. And that's what I really liked about Pacific Dunes myself.
And did you guys have caddies the whole time?
No, I didn't. I've never used a caddy, but Scott helped me.
Yeah, well, the first time, the first time I played Pack, I was by myself. I played Stream Song Blue, and just fell in love with Tom Doak. Just absolutely fell in love with Tom Doak. And when we were taking a family trip up to Crater Lake, and I was like, oh, Bandon's, it's not that far away. Maybe we can detour the trip and then go up the coast. And so we stayed in Bandon overnight, and I went and walked Pack. And I just took a trolley. I didn't have a caddy. But I loved that course that day. I tell everybody, it was windy, it was rainy, it was foggy. The California Northern Fires had just tons of smoke in the air, and I had an absolute blast. Tom Doak, just the way he manipulates the natural landscape and keeps it looking raw, but builds an amazing golf course in there. It just is just amazing to me. And at 13, when you hit into that green and you've got that 40-foot tall sand dune bunker,
right?
I was just in there going, who the fuck
Yeah.
does this? You know, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, so good.
I think you mentioned Tom Doak because that was one of the things that I really noticed when I played Sand Valley and Mammoth. I hated Mammoth, even though I shot a really good score there, just because nothing I did mattered. I could hit it, I could spray it. I'm now at a point where I have a pretty consistent draw, but it can be a slice on if I hit it heel, and it can be a hook all the time. I didn't think it mattered at all. I just tried to hit the ball as hard as I could there because I knew my next shot, I'm going to have a shot at the green. There is no position 1A.
And that's the Court Crenshaw one. That's the easier one.
Right.
Yeah.
But then Sand Valley comes along, and I was hitting greens and then watching them roll off. And it's like, I was mad, but my friend who lives up there, he was like, yeah, you weren't in a good position. Why do you even expect to hold that?
Right.
Kind of like I was the idiot for thinking, oh, I'm gonna hit it from the fairway, hit it in the middle of the green, and it's not gonna stay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's gonna slope away from you. You're not gonna do it. And Pack does that. It matters. Your shots matter there.
Yeah.
And it's I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, so good.
All right, so let's get to number 1 on your list. Also, number 1 on my list and Dan's.
Trails. 3 reasons why. Number 1, the breakfast burritos are fire. Like, it is by far the best breakfast spot on Bandon. Like, Puffin's Lounge, whatever, don't even think about that. Most of the other stuff isn't open. You go to Trails, you get the burrito, and you're happy the rest of your day, no matter what. It's the second thing is, I know people talk about going from the dune to the meadow to the forest. In my opinion, it's the only course that I felt I was in Oregon. Like, it was
that makes sense.
I could hear the noises. I could I've heard other people talk about you're finally away from the ocean. I always could smell the little bit of that ocean air.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was the first time I was hearing the noises from the different forests,
different Sasquatches, and
the wild turkeys and the deer.
There literally were some wild turkeys.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh yeah.
I thought people were joking. No, there's a flock.
Yeah.
But I thought the course itself has interesting hole after interesting hole. It also has one of the only holes on the whole course that actually water comes into play. I didn't know that. I also didn't realize that there was a shuttle between 13 and 14, and I walked that.
Oh, you walked it?
You walked Heart Attack Hill?
I did.
Lives the top.
Wow.
The funny thing is, I told my wife afterwards, I was like, I'm getting a physical when I get home. Weight Watchers, something needs to happen.
You know, 2 people have died on that. Right?
I didn't, but I thought I was going to be one of them.
Yeah, that they didn't used to have the shuttle, and 2 people had heart attacks and died.
Well,
so that's why they call that Heart Attack Hill.
I walked, I didn't have a caddy for that one, which I almost think you should either go all caddy or no caddy. Just a pro tip, it's every course has things you're not going to know about it. But the problem is, even after that walk or that ride, you get up there and then you have that tee shot on 14.
Yeah.
Like that was something.
So did you catch the little area behind the tee box?
Yeah, I hit a draw, kept it over there. I still had a pretty
bench behind the tee box on 14.
Behind the 14 tee box.
I didn't. I saw the bench there, but I didn't go up to it.
There's a bench and a plaque, and that's
Kaiser.
Where it was Kaiser, right?
Well,
that the first
Shorty
time
Dowd
he
brought Kaiser there, and
showed him the property, and that's where he was like,
"Oh,
wow.
That's cool."
Yeah. So that view is just incredible.
Yeah. Well, the hole is incredible too. There.
Yeah.
Like that. Now I'm gonna look forward to.
It's a love it or hate it hole. Everybody either loves it or they hate it. There's no in between.
If you hit a draw, you're pretty happy with it. If you don't, you hate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing too is like some of the shorter. I think it has the most short par 4s that are drivable. So like number 7, I just said screw it, I'm gonna hit driver like resort course, and I got it all the way, hit the pin, and it's I was ecstatic until I thought, oh my god, did I just get a hole in one on a par 4? clearly no, by the way. It hit the pin and it like didn't even stay on the green. But like I felt like that once again, I go to courses to feel, feel love, feel nature, feel excitement, feel competition, feel camaraderie. That was like just the amount of cheering and just seeing it and just so when I got down there, saw I was not on the green, pitched in 3-putt, that softened that blow some.
Yeah, I had with Joe when we went before the solstice, we played there around and on 4, I holed out from 170
nice.
and shot a 36 on the front, and I was like ecstatic, and then I thought I think I shot a 46 on the back. just all my joy. I was like, I just played my favorite course in the world. I'm here getting ready to play the solstice. I just shot even par through 9 holes. Yes. And then the back 9 went, hey Matt, remember me? I'm your brain.
That just happened to me at Paiute. It's okay.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Joe too. Happened to Joe too.
It happens.
The other thing too is like being at Pinehurst, playing the Cradle, playing the Bats at Kohler. When it comes to the par 3 short courses, I think the Preserve is the best one by far.
Yeah.
I don't feel that was like a short course. I almost feel like if you took 7 of those and put them out on a regular course, they would fit.
Yeah.
Oh,
was not an afterthought. That's for sure.
What time did you play it at? Did you? I know I asked you.
At dusk when it was starting to. Yeah, it was starting to get dark.
The shadows, so like good. that whole like landscape, just with all those shadows, it's good.
Incredible.
That and
did you get on shorties?
I did not get on shorties. No, did punch bowl, but not shorties.
What'd you think of the punch bowl?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was very, very entertaining. I think next time, if I was going with a group of friends, I would, obviously you're not going to be able to fly in and get there early in the day. I'd probably try to get there, go out all 8, 12, however many people, and all go out at the same time on Preserve, and then go to the punch bowl and just have some drinks.
Yeah.
Maybe do some s'mores afterwards.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so much fun.
Overall, like I walked away from it thinking I can't wait to come back. And then also like I wish there were some things that were better. I almost feel like the lodge is just ready for some renovation. And I'm hoping that they continue to invest in it. Because you see that like Rodeo Dunes is coming. They have Sedge Valley and Lido for their the St. Lucia course.
One of the things that you talked about the caddy doing all caddy or no caddy. And one of the things that I have found, Scott's actually become a pretty good friend.
Mm-hmm.
But not knowing him before that, just the stories that those guys have and the things that he can point out is like, oh, hey, go take a walk through that right there. Go walk through that. Go look at that. Oh, check out this. Oh, check out that. All this different stories. Like, hey, come to this point right here. At this point, you can see every course on property. It's the only point. It's like on the 10th tee box. You go to the back tee boxes on 10, and there's a part where you can see every property, and just things like that are really make it special.
I think the other thing with that too, though, is you have to be very deliberate in telling them what experience you want. And the reason I say that is because like this one of the guys that was with us had a caddy. He was only there for one day, but his caddy kept telling jokes anytime that we had any weight whatsoever. He almost felt like he had to entertain us. And don't get me wrong, a couple of the jokes were really funny, but at the same time, it's also like for my friend, he's like a +3. Like, I mean, it's almost like a Bob West or Dan, one of those really good golfers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Dan. Dan doesn't take a lot seriously, but it's like for him, it completely took him out of his element.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there trying, like I've already mapped out the course. I have the yardage book. I'm going to be looking at it. I'm going to be thinking about the wind. He wants the caddy just to give him insight that he can't get from other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And instead he's like cracking jokes, and it's like,
yeah, that's one of those things with caddies. I mean, it's like you have to be a chameleon, and you need to figure out what each player wants, and that's pretty difficult because you do have to adapt to certain personalities and styles of golf. There's people that just want to drink and just have fun with their buddies, and then there's people that want to play well,
Right.
and then there's people that know their shit and they want to play well, and they don't want you bothering them with too much bullshit. And that's the thing about caddies is you just gotta be a chameleon, and there's good ones and bad ones.
We were playing
Yeah.
Pacific. And my buddy Andrew and I, we were playing Pacific. Because on Monday nights of the solstice, they have an event at the little top bar there at PAC at the Punch Bowl, and so we went and played Pacific, and we get to the first tee box, and we're playing with this Asian couple, and she had the slowest swing speed I think ever recorded in history, and she was playing a Zexio driver that I think had 30 degrees aloft, and so she takes her first shot and hits it, and it goes all of 90 yards. And he goes, "Great shot, hon." And our our caddy that we had, he looks over at the other guy, and he just kind of went like this, And so we played the first hole, and as soon as we got done with the first hole, he goes, "Go, go,
Yeah.
just go." And so we left. We played the rest of the round, went back, had some drinks, went to the room, showered, changed, came back, ate, and they just had come up 18.
Man.
So yeah, some caddies get it.
Well,
some get it.
I think the big thing is this. This is coming from a guy who's been through a lot of therapy. It's like you just have to communicate your needs.
Right.
Like, just like I kind of just finally told him, I was like, why don't you just tell him what you need?
Yeah.
And so then he went and had a conversation. The guy was fine after that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I thought the jokes were pretty funny. Like, I don't take myself too seriously on a golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun that can be had.
Yeah, I always forget his name. The Hirsch. Yeah, he was fun. He really enjoyed playing with us the last 2 rounds of Solstice.
Yeah, the guys that the guys that we were with, they had a caddy because they don't let too many caddies loop all the round, 72.
Yeah.
So they split it up in 36. Some guys do 36 in the morning, and then another guy comes on and does the other 36 in the afternoon. And so he came on halfway, and Old Mac was our third round. And the guys we were with, they're from Canada, and
originally from Ireland.
Got a birdie on this. Yeah. Originally from Ireland, yeah. And so they had birdie juice. They had some bourbon,
I don't know,
or was it
whiskey or
rum
bourbon,
or
one of the two.
Whatever. Some flavored berry whiskey that was really good.
I think someone birdied the first hole, right?
So they're like birdie shots, And so they're like, "Here, Hirsch." And he's like, "I think I love you guys."
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good times. The Solstice is definitely something
list,
that
man.
if you're looking for a different kind of adventure in golf, that's when it sells out in 6 minutes. That's
how much was it this year?
$2,000. Oh no, 15.
No, we paid
it went up
we paid
$500.
$1,550, I think, and I think it was $2,150 this year.
Yeah, it went up $500.
That's a lot, but it's for the amount that you're getting.
It's a lot. At $1,500,
100% worth it at $1,550. I mean, even maybe like $1,750, 100% worth it. Anything, it's kind of like
you get over that $2,000 mark, because then you still got to cover.
If I had never done it before, 100% I'd drop $2,150 on it though.
I can tell you this though, it's like my entire trip costs under $2,000.
Yeah.
Like Whistling cost me under that. I mean, I'd be interested.
It's more of the experience. Yeah. It's being a part of playing 72 holes, walking in one
100%.
day. Then
85.
The value of the golf.
Yeah. I'm surprised that
85. Yeah, we did 85.
I'm surprised other courses like Pinehurst could do something like that, or like the Lake Reynolds.
Well, that was the idea. Behind Legends Never Die, is we wanted to do the 3 courses at Paiute all in one day. Unfortunately, out here, the only time you can do that is when it's balls hot. Yeah. But I mean, that's
we would have done it, but
because there's nothing like that.
One of them was closed, so that's why we didn't do it.
Well, COVID, they shut it down. Wolf, we didn't do Wolf. Oh no, we did Wolf.
Wolf and
Snow, I think was closed. Yeah, we did Sun and
Sun. Yeah, three other kind of observations generally. Number one, if you shop at Costco for most of your clothing like I do, you will notice that there is some weather resistant pants. Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
No, don't be fooled at all. They are not weather resistant. I think
they're resistant to helping you in bad weather.
Also true shoes. The toes and like front part of my shoes were completely dry. It doesn't do anything when the water is running down your leg, though.
True, yeah.
So continuation of making sure that you're dry.
Yeah.
And also, I know there's someone on here who loves the meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
I
am love the meatloaf too.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like game changing. Right. I have to go back to get meatloaf. But
I'm not a bacon grease in my bourbon kind of Southern, but I am like ham hock and ham and everything Southern.
Yeah.
If you grew up on the East Coast, especially from say Virginia down, that was the standard meatloaf everybody got.
Yeah.
It was solid.
Here's the thing. Yeah, the thing about the meatloaf is, yes, it's not world class. It's not the greatest thing you'll ever eat in your life. But when you play 36 holes at Bandon, or you've had a long day with the wind blowing at your face and the rain,
it's
and then
really good.
You're beat down, and then you sit down to that type of hearty meal, and it's comfort food, and it just hits perfect.
I agree. Other thing too is like I think depending upon time of year you go, so I basically were like talking to the caddy and a couple other locals. They said that if you in the summer it is so dry that it can like they have fire hazards and fire warnings and you know Smokey the Bear type messages everywhere. Anytime outside of say like June to September, it is extremely wet. Yeah. And so just knowing that, I almost feel like I would have rather packed one really good pair of rain pants and then just worn like a pair of basketball shorts underneath it or something like that just to stay dry. Because I didn't have a problem being cold. Like when I played whistling, it was cold. Pinehurst was cold. Like there were times where I had like hand warmers and things like that.
Yeah.
Here it's your pants are going to get wet. Like I had a rain jacket, so I didn't have that problem. And then the wind is going to just chill you to the bone.
Right.
So make sure that you actually invest in the rain gear, depending upon when you're going. That was by far the number one takeaway is I was not ready for that. And I got punished because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's shoe warmers in the room for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, when we went, when did we go? We went in March, first week of March or something like that. And it was 46 degrees and I was never cold, really. Right. You know, it's the rain that'll get you. Luckily, we didn't have too much, but
I've played the Solstice in shorts all the times that I've done it, and people look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm like, look, I'm coming from 110 degree dry Vegas heat. This is like the AC's on.
Yeah,
it's just really nice.
Yeah.
I was blown away though. I can't wait to compare it because I almost feel like the courses themselves, like. I'm trying to think how to phrase this, but it's almost like group girls. So like if you see a group of blonde girls walking towards you, you're like, oh my God, there's all these hot girls walking towards you. Yeah. But then when you get there, you notice that individually, they're not all as good as the group. Like, oh, they're 5 average looking girls.
King of analogies.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
I almost feel, and Joe, specifically you, I wanted to ask this. If you took these courses out of their environment, meaning if they weren't so close to each other, do you think they would have the rankings they have?
I think so. I mean, I think Pacific, is totally like a
100%,
incredibly designed golf course. I think trails could stand up to anything that's mountainous or tree lined, kind of, that type of vibe. I think that would hold up very well to anything. I think Preserve would still be one of the best par 3 courses you 100%. Can play. I think OG Bandon came along when the United States was looking or needed something like that. And it's a love affair, and it's the firstborn son of the link style destination golf, situation that we got going on and all these other resorts popping up. Sheep, I think a lot of people would still love Sheep because it's right there on the ocean. Now, if you put that anywhere else in the desert, no, it doesn't have a lot to offer. Old Mac, I think, would still be fun, Googled over by a lot of architecture and true spirit, persimmon players in the world. I think that'll always stand the test of time. But no, I think they're all great courses, but it is the experience of Bandon that makes Bandon incredible. It's not necessarily just the golf. It's the conversations you overhear in the restaurants of people talking about their days, and everyone there is a golf nut, and you could talk to anyone and develop an instant relationship with anyone there. It's just the collective Bandon experience that just makes it what it is. It's for true diehard golfers, and there's people that you would bring and they wouldn't get it, but the ones that do understand it, and that's
when I first started doing this show with Ryan years ago. One of the first episodes that I took a lot of flack on was because I said there's this phrase in my head, "Hey golfer," and it's when you're like in Albertsons and you're getting milk and you pull out the thing and you walk and you see a guy standing over there and he's got a Titleist hat on, and you just
yeah,
right. you golfers know golfers. They see and you're like, "Hey golfer," you would never do that, but you kind of give each other the nod, like, yeah, I get you. And at Bandon, that's everybody.
So,
everybody there is, "Hey golfer."
So a funny story with that is my wife, like I said, she spent more in the pro shop than I did, and she got one of the hoodies that it's a G4 hoodie, and so she was like, "Am I a poser?" I'm like, a little bit. It's okay. You've been here. But then she's like, "Is G4 a good brand?" And then she's like started researching G4, and now I'm terrified I'm going to get like a G4 shoes or something for my birthday. And I'm like, oh no, no.
Dude, they're very comfortable. They're very comfortable.
True for life.
Joe didn't like them, but I love the Trues, but the thing that the G4s, as I'm getting older, I'm finding the zero drop versus support is, I mean, my fucking knees just ache when I wear the Trues, and I hate it because they're so goddamn comfortable. But with the G4s, I can play multiple rounds and just, I don't have the knee pain.
Could always buy insoles or go to the fucking Good Feet store.
Yeah. Well,
been there, done
just
that.
Put them in your Trues.
Fucker.
One other thing for you.
I've tried.
I mean, for both of you, but also Joe. So this is my thought process. As I was playing the courses, I was thinking about their ranking just because I'm focused on these lists and everything else. Mm-hmm. So Sheep Ranch is the lowest ranked, but it's still number 20 or number 15. Is there any course that's coming out or that has come out? Because the new top 100 list are both going to be released this year, probably in the next month or two. Is there any course that's coming out that you think is going to displace, be in that top 20?
Black Desert,
Copper Rock, Landman.
Yeah, because isn't Copper Rock will be eligible here soon? Isn't there like a waiting time or something? I think it's a couple.
I don't know if there's a waiting time or not.
Anyway, actually,
I think Black Rock is going to be the best golf course in Southern.
There's a lot of there's a lot of incredible projects going on, like
Paynes Valley. It wasn't existing when this came out.
And Landman, right?
Yeah,
Landman's one. Red Feather's coming soon. Old Barneswell is coming. What's that other Kyle Franz course that he's doing? Sagebrush, whatever. I can't remember. Sagebrush.
I got an email about preview play at that St. Lucia course.
Yeah. Oh, sick. Yeah. That's
gonna
be insane. I'm sure that'll beat Sheep for sure.
I just can't wait. There's so many great golf courses to play.
There really is, and there's a lot coming too. Which the list just keeps adding. It just keeps going. Lido, man, I want to play Lido so bad, but yeah, it's a lot.
I saw little bits and pieces of that. Just like it wasn't completely filled in when I played, but I didn't realize that it wasn't like an inspiration, that they're actually putting it inch by inch.
Yeah, it's almost like an exact replica.
Like Screw Bear's Best. This isn't a greatest hits. This is like a
guy built it off of old school pictures, and he built it. I think he originally built it as a course so he could play it on his simulator, and then someone found out about it. There's a great podcast. I think it's Fried Egg that did it with him, and it's really interesting in how AI and all that stuff could transform the way that golf courses are built. Kids could build golf courses on their computer, and if they find the land that fits it, I mean, it's crazy.
I like it.
Hey, so what's left on your Vegas list?
Nothing,
Cliff.
So I had a Summit Club hookup that I no longer have.
Damn.
Which is unfortunate. That
What an ass.
No, it was I'm married now, so I can no longer talk to that person.
Okay.
I gave up a lot to marry my wife,
sense.
but
you got a good one though.
Yeah,
so
100%. She's amazing.
Dan's single.
Yeah, there you go. I'll make an intro.
Make a connection.
What I'm really focused on is I've played very little in Mesquite though. So I've done Wolf Creek and Palms, and that's about it.
Oh, Conestoga's coming.
So I was even thinking about just going up and just knocking out the 2 oases, or Falcon Ridge or whatever else.
Falcon Ridge is good.
Well, there's a 9-hole course in the town of Mesquite that it's called Coyote Run or something like that. That it looks really interesting, and nobody ever talks about it. I don't even know if they have a website or not, but that's one of the things I'm thinking about doing that day, since we started too, was going up early and knocking that out.
Yeah, let me know. Because like I played all the Vegas courses. I absolutely think we live in a golf mecca. It's good course after good course after good course, but I think that we don't have the great courses here. Like even like I think the best public course is probably Coyote Springs, even though it's not that close.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing, is I wish we had more in town that's going to be good.
A lot of our courses are older designers, and we don't have any of the new like fresh blood type of natural. We don't have the Dokes or the Court Crenshaws or like Kyle Franz, which I don't see any of them doing anything out here, but it would be incredible.
We have no water.
Yeah.
There's no more. All we got is what we got. Take advantage of it, because they're going to slowly start going away.
The biggest problem is,
which sucks.
I mean, when you think about it, we have very few courses that don't already have houses surrounding them.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. Is it would have to be someone coming in and revamping an existing. And I just don't know which existing would really have the land to do something interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they got to go way on the outskirts, which is tough because
resources. We're banned from any new courses. That's
nothing's going to happen.
I mean, I guess I'll just keep traveling.
I wonder if does that qualify for a redesign?
Well, you know what,
I think you could redesign something, but when I think about the courses,
I'm sure if like somebody comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to redesign this, and we're going to update all the water, and so it's more efficient," and they, be a really
but the problem is, what courses could you really do that with? Like,
well, Concord, you could do it with a few, but you'd have to move a lot of dirt. Like Stallion Mountain, if you could move a shit ton of dirt, like you could probably make something cool out there.
Did you ever play Black Mountain before it closed?
But that was before I really played golf, though. So I played it as a scramble once for.
See, I always wanted to take, because the original front nine was just a 9-hole course when it first opened, and I always thought it would be a blast to reopen that and just make it a 9-hole course, and just a basic Muni 9-hole golf course. But it's got new houses on it.
It would make it difficult. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if I was listening to an episode, you guys were talking about what course Liv would play. 100% it would be Las Vegas Country Club. There would be a DJ out on the plane in the water. That would have to be where it goes.
That is very valid point.
Like,
and they got that balcony that overlooks the first and the above the old pro shop, where right outside the restaurant. Yeah,
that would be the answer right there.
But the range sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
it's true.
Range.
They could do national too. National wouldn't be a bad one either.
Yeah.
Alrighty. National's in really good shape. We played it yesterday.
Really good right now.
It's in really
I'm playing
good shape.
Arroyo tomorrow morning, and I have a love-hate relationship with that one.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. I love to hate that course.
Routing is, like, when I think of like golf course stuff, like not just individual holes and greatness, like I know I wrote the article about that, but the thing that like just bothers me more than anything else is bad routing.
Yeah.
And that one is 100%. The worst in town.
It just derails you. There's no flow to it, which it's all about keeping people in the flow,
Yeah, you got to have a vibe to it. And
and that's what happened with roads too, when they cut up that shit, and now you got to take the detour through the neighborhood, and it just,
I think
you lose your golf vibe.
the way that they changed the par 3 is, I think, the biggest problem. Like number 5, that had the temporary green, and now the green is just crap. But they should have left the par 3 to where it was completely on the right hand side, closer to the road, to where you forced carry all over water. That would have made that 1,000 times more interesting.
Totally, for sure.
So much better it could have been. Yeah. So, well, all right, Cliffy, we went an hour 20. Love it.
Long one.
Thanks for hopping on and filling in. Since our regularly scheduled show will not happen this next week.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a regularly scheduled show. And in the meantime, get out, have some fun, and chase some daylight.
Later.